to the JLP color. It kind of give a JLP feel. But I want it to be Jamaican, so that's why I want to stick to the Jamaica color. So when you look at it from the side, it will look like you're looking at a Jamaica flags. Yeah, so we're also gonna add a little 4x4 bathroom. We're gonna use a little bit outside, but it's gonna be flush toilet. So we're just gonna put in a bowl and a face basin and connect it to a little pit. The pit will be a small pit. We're gonna dig it like the depth of 2 drums put together. So we can dig the hole and then we add 2 drums to it. We bore this side of the drum, cut out the bottom of the drum and bore the sides. So because it's water, it will just soak away over time. And if it's just one person, they can't afford that. Needing at the greedy, so we're looking at the extreme poor person. We're looking at, we have 4 divisions, so we're going to build 2 in each division. So we're looking at 8. We're going to do them over a period of around 10 months. So we're going to do one starting next Saturday. I doubt we might have all the material to complete Saturday, but we want to make a start. But after that, every time when we're going to do the houses, we want to have all the material. It's really, to build a 10 by 10 room will just take a day. You don't need more than a day to do it. You might have to come back and paint afterwards. You should be able to complete a room, one of these rooms in a day. So you can feel it that it's going to be a big project. It'll go hard for the JLP to compete against it because, as you know, it's not government money. It's about Paul Patmore friends and my TikTok family. So as long as you follow me on TikTok, you're also part of the project.
So here now is an example of the house, the type of house that Paul Patmore proposes to replace for very, or what he called extreme poor residents of South Trelawney. Now this man is just living in a board thing with zinc on the side. He has drums and a roof, and as you can see, it's very small. So Patmore proposes to build 8 such structures, 10 by 10, 1 room. Then he would have an outdoor bathroom or outdoor toilet, or what they call pit latrine, 4 by 4, and that is what he proposes for the residents of Southern Trelawney. Of course, I will have more to say about Paul Patmore's housing project, but let me give you my customary welcome to Jamaica 411, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, keeping me company as usual. I appreciate it. I love you all. I wish I could see some of you, but of course, I do interact with you and love your comments. So please leave your comments in this comment section. Let me know what you think about this project of Paul Patmore's. I have an inkling of what you may say, but let me hear it all the same. To my many subscribers, almost 9,000, thank you so much for subscribing and supporting the channel. For my regular visitors who may not have decided to subscribe as yet, please consider doing so, and hit the notification bell so you can know, or button. I know some people may not be infused by bells, but at any rate, please hit that notification button. If you like the bell, hit the notification bell so you can know whenever it is that I upload a video. Okay, now that I've ended my customary welcome to you all, I would now like to continue and give you now my opinion of this project, which according to Paul Patmore, the Jamaica Labour Party will not be able to compete with. Now, I have to say that is laughable, because I'm not quite sure what it is that Paul could be talking about when he said that the government could not compete, cannot build 8 10 by 10 room with an out room, what they call it, a pit toilet, right? Albeit a flushing one. He said the JLP would have a hard time competing. Yes, of course, because I'm sure the Jamaica Labour Party will not be building any such thing for the residents, and they are not building any such thing for residents. Even Lisa, in her private capacity, Lisa Hanna, that is the MP for South East St. Anne, she built five, if I recall correctly. There were two or three bedroom houses for five women who and their families who were, if I recall correctly, there were abused women who needed somewhere, and she got the sponsorship and she built houses, and none of them had pit latrine. So I don't know what it is Mr. Patmore is saying, but he is trying to do something for those persons who are extremely poor, as you can see from that house, just very small. So those are the persons that he's catering to. Now, it is difficult for me to understand what is his game plan as a politician. It is not the first time that Paul has sought to buy his way into the hearts of people. Not that he's not genuine in wanting to help people. He more than likely is very genuine. But this is not the first time he has made an attempt and has chosen to use this particular approach. But rather than tell you what it is, let me venture to the Gleaner and let the Gleaner remind us of his adventure into politics. Way back in 2012, he wanted to, if I recall correctly, to represent the Jamaica Labour Party. But there was some castas, I think Andrew wanted somebody else, and the residents and the Labour Party fell out. But let me not preempt the Gleaner. Let me scurry over to the Gleaner now and let the Gleaner tell us what happened then. So here is the Gleaner telling us what happened on nomination day. It says here, Tuesday, this was reported in the Gleaner, Tuesday, March 6, 2012. And it says former JLP supporter to run as independent. It goes on to say former Jamaica Labour Party supporter Paul Patmore has made good his intention to run as an independent candidate for the Lorimer's division in South Trelawney on a day when the major parties fielded candidates in all four divisions in this constituency, with the support of white-clad followers rivaling the main opposition of Steve Warren of the Jamaica Labour Party and the lesser Kevin Guy of the People's National Party at yesterday's nomination. So nomination day would have been March 5, Monday. It goes on to say, he beamed with confidence, saying, I am 90% sure of victory, with the other 10% being if I am not able to complete the race for various reasons. So that more or less was what they reported of what Patmore had said on March 5, 2012, on nomination day for the local government election. He was running as a candidate for the Lorimer's division, as the Gleaner reported. The Gleaner went on to give us a background into the cascades which had developed in the Jamaica Labour Party, causing the fallout. It says the 40-year-old funeral director, that's Paul Patmore at the time, decided to run as an independent candidate after he was spurned by the JLP when he sought to displace the sitting councillor Warren for the candidacy. Can you imagine? There you have it. You have a candidate who is a sitting councillor, and he wanted to replace him on the JLP's ticket, and they said no. It goes on to say, while independent candidates have not fared well in Jamaican politics, this division has had the distinction of having an independent candidate before in Felix Toiloy, and pundits are saying that he has a chance of winning as he is loved by the people and has done road repairs and assisted with water supplies from his funds in this JLP stronghold. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to that. He's loved by the people. He did road repairs. He assisted with water supplies, and he did it from his own pocket. Same strategy he's using in southern Trelawney in his effort to win the seat for the People's National Party. Nothing is wrong with that. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what it takes to win, and it's legal. That's what you do. So that was his technique. Let's see what happened now. So here we now have election day report. It is being reported by a local newspaper, Jamaica Local Government Elections. Not quite sure who was reporting it. But it says JamaicaElections.com. So it's an independent group, I assume. They are saying Trelawney Independent confident of victory. So this is the day of election, if I remember right. It was March 26, 2012. At least one independent candidate is already claiming victory in today's poll. Paul Patmore of the Lorimer's division in South Trelawney began claiming victory 2 hours before the close of polling. This afternoon, Patmore said he was confident of a win as his team's polling tally was showing that he was ahead. Unlike other independent candidates contesting the local government elections, Patmore had a full team of workers, including indoor and outdoor agents. You see how willing the people were to work for him? They went and they worked for him to win. So he was his machinery was intact. I mean, just as large and as organized as the PNP and JLP. Anyway, let me go on. He said his main contender, Steve Warren, who was the sitting councillor of the Jamaica Labour Party, declined to comment, saying he was busy, while the People's National Party's Kevin Guy could not be reached. So I guess Steve Warren realized he was in trouble. But it's reported that some supporters of the candidates from both major political parties have already begun expressing worry about the possible result. And then they said, in giving us a little background, Patmore was expelled from the Jamaica Labour Party earlier this month after he was nominated to run as an independent candidate. So up to the time when on nomination that he ran, up to that time, he was actually a member of the Jamaica Labour Party. And when he was nominated, if I understand the party's constitution according to how it was described to us recently, it automatically disqualifies you as a member of the Jamaica Labour Party, and I do believe it's the same for the People's National Party. So this now was what happened on election day. So on the night of election day, the counts were in. Paul Patmore, much to everyone's consternation, especially the Jamaica Labour Party, much to the delight of some persons who, like to run as independent and hope they could win, and much to the wonder of the People's National Party, I'm sure, Paul Patmore won the election. He won as an independent, and I can't tell you how many years that has not happened in Jamaica, but he won. Now, having won on the basis of fixing people's water, fixing the roads, and doing all sorts of stuff for the constituents, 4 years later when he was to consider running again, and that election, I believe, was in, I think I made a mistake before. This particular election, I believe, was November 28, 2016. That's the 2016 local government election. When he was to consider to run, he decided he was not going to. Right? It says here, Patmore satisfied but walking away. Now he received some kind of award. He received, let me see what the award was. It says, and this was reported October 13, 2016 in the Gleaner. It says in the caption, in this 2009 filed photograph, businessman Paul Patmore, right, who subsequently became the independent counsel for the Lorimer's division in Trelawny Parish Council, is seen receiving Governor General's award from Jamaica's Governor General, Sir Kenneth Hall, for his contribution to community development. So he received an award from the um, Governor General under the same Jamaica Labour Party government. Jamaica Labour Party was in government at the time, and he received an award from the Governor General for his contribution to community service, right? Community development. Let's see now what else the Gleaner has said to, tell us about his stewardship, what he thinks about his stewardship over the period. I want you to listen carefully now. Despite grading himself a 9 out of 10 for his 4-year stint as the councillor for the Lorimer's division in the Trelawny Parish Council, businessman Paul Patmore, who ran and won as an independent candidate, will not be seeking re-election in the upcoming local government elections. You heard that? So he fought for it. He tried to get out the man who was a councillor on the JLP's ticket. He was unable to do so. People held faith with him and went through all the trouble of having him elected. And after 4 years, he decided he's had enough. Let's see if he gave a reason why. It says here, Patmore says his decision not to seek re-election was as a result of some of the choices he made in the 2012 election campaign, which he felt have come back to haunt him. Hear what I'm saying now. My tenure has been a success, and it, referring to politics, is something I may do again, but I would have to change my approach, said Patmore. I think I blundered in the way I campaigned. I campaigned using the same method of the PNP and the JLP, going around handing out scarce benefits and spoils to seek votes, and that is the only regret that I have. You heard that? Let us see, well, let's go on and hear what else he says. He says, so now people come to me for things all the time, and I try to explain to them that it cannot work that way, continued Patmore. Before I was elected and somebody come and ask me for assistance with, for example, school fees, I always try to assist in some small way. So what is Patmore saying here? He's saying, right, that he's not going to seek re-election. Why? Because the people are coming to him, asking him for things all the time. It says, so now people come to me for things all the time, and I try to explain to them that it cannot work that way. Right? How can it work that way, Paul? When you buy the votes by giving them according to you, scarce benefits and spoils, and now you're elected, what them expect from you now? Them come to get now scarce benefits and spoils. And you have got what you wanted out of it. You were the councillor, and they got what they wanted out of it, the scarce benefits and spoils. And now them expected to continue. And of course you have to explain to them it can't happen that way. We don't have a deal, and the deal is now over. You got your scarce benefits, I got my councillorship. What more is this that you want from me? So he decided that the best way to deal with the situation where gone butter ready, that he can't see how he could reverse, is to not run for re-election, but to come back at a later date with a different approach. This is basically what he's saying, right? So in the election campaign, when he wanted to win, he was busy buying the votes, is what he was saying, handing out scarce benefits and spoils, fixing people road, fixing this, paying school fees, providing people with water, all sorts of things that he was doing in order to get elected, right? That is what he is referring to as scarce benefits and spoils. And he regretted it because after he won, the people, he seemed not to realize that the people still come, right? For the scarce benefits and spoils. So he decided to quit. So when you hear him talking about the people in Trelawney saying that he has never left them yet, that is a that is a lie from the pit of hell. He did leave them. They voted for him, they worked for him on election day for him to win. And when the pressure reached him and he couldn't keep up or refused to keep up, not that he couldn't, he refused to keep up with what he had started himself, he decided to run and leave the people, right? Leave it now for the JLP to get back the seat and do whatever it was that the people felt they weren't doing, why they turned to Patmore in the first place, right? So this is Mr. Patmore now, the same Patmore that is saying that he did not leave the people. He's now back. And what is he doing? Same scarce benefits and spoils. Now, apparently money isn't there. He's asking his TikTokers and others to donate to a fund, right? Now, I don't know about this business about collecting money from people to do things. You alone going into your personal account for you to do something. How are you going to account for this money to the people? Who else has name in this account that you're providing for people to donate money? And how will the people know that the money is doing what it's supposed to do? Yes, you may be an honest man, I am sure, but there needs to be some kind of accountability, and you need to provide that, or you may get yourself into some serious trouble. Now, it's not that his time in office as a councillor was a failure. The went on to report that, according to him, despite being an independent councillor, Patmore said he was treated fairly as the council's resources was equitably distributed among all councillors. He went on to say, I wouldn't say it was challenging because contrary to what you hear, every single month we received our allocations for work to be done in our divisions, said Patmore. It is only 2 times we have received less than 200,000 per month in 48 months. So we were able to address all concerns, drains, road patching, and such. You hear that? This would be the Trelawney Parish Council. And the Trelawney Parish Council was the only parish council the PMP did not win in 2012. Remember, it was almost a clean sweep. But as you can see by the numbers, the PMP of the 9 council seats, the PMP won 4, the JLP won 4, and other, which is Mr. Patmore. Had Mr. Patmore not upset the apple cart, the JLP would have won 1 council in 2012. As it was, it ended as a tie. He did not decide to join either the PMP or the JLP, I suppose because the people sent him there as an independent. He went on to speak about his disappointment in the fact that some persons were not able to get services like garbage collection and street lights because they didn't own the properties and the owners of the properties weren't paying property taxes. He saw as his signature project what he called the Paul Patmore Water Project in Low River area. He said he knew where all the street lights were, and he made sure that they kept working. This is his opinion about his stewardship. As to the opinion of the people in Lorimer, I don't know. But if his stewardship is anything to go by based on what he says, if self praise was a recommendation, he would have done a reasonable job. At least he gave somebody water, right? And kept the street lights going according to him. So again, we go back now to Paul Patmore. Can the people of South Trelawney trust that he will not bail on them as he did before? Mind you, he did change his approach somewhat so far based upon what he said he would have done in 2016. He has not, it seems to me, um, been providing largesse or what they will call scarce benefits and spoils to people. He has sought instead to win political favor by providing scarce benefits and spoils to the extreme poor. Of course, the extreme poor have very little in the way of demands. They just would satisfy with a 10 by 10 room and a pit toilet, and that's, good enough for them because, of course, they are coming from extreme poverty. So that would be something of an achievement that also takes a lot of pressure off him in terms of the demands that people make on him. As to whether or not he's going to succumb and go back to his previous scarce benefits and spoils, which caused him to bail out on the people in 2016, that is left to be seen. So, this is Mr. Paul Patmore for you. So, let me know what you think about him in the comments section. It appears, based on what he said in 2016, that none of his assistants to the people really were, because he wanted to help and so on. He referred to his assistants as scarce benefits and spoils, right? We suggested that he was giving them something for their votes. And now that he had won, they still come to him expecting him to give them something, you know? And he said that can't work. So, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I I don't think he was genuine after all, having read and reminded myself of what it was I had read at the time. But it's for the people of South Trelawney to decide who would make a better representative. Of course, all those people, if they vote for him and he should win, just know that Paul Patmore is not into the business of handing out scarce benefits and spoils after he wins. So make sure if you if you want something out of this thing, and that is why you're supporting him, make sure anything you're going to get, you get it now. All right. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope the sound is not as terrible as it sounds. It's actually a tablet I'm using. My phone fell into water. Can you believe it? I'm now waiting for a screen, so I should be back in business soon. Until next time, take good care of yourself and walk good.